AI is prompting me to produce more information on the Boomer Bloomer greenhouse based on my last post. So I'm going to get into this thing and show you how this thing works, because to most people it looks like a box with dirt in it, but it's actually the culmination of 20 some years of designing greenhouses. During the 90s I designed a whole bunch of different greenhouses, and I found out that greenhouses are good for growing, for starting plants, or if you're going to have a hobby of growing orchids or something like that. But nobody actually grows a garden in a greenhouse. So that's where this differs, in that you actually grow your garden for the whole season. Now, my original intent on this thing was for people in neighborhoods where, let's say, 4 families in a given neighborhood could purchase 4 of these boxes and work it as a cooperative, where through the 9 months of growing, which is normally 3 months of growing in the Upper Peninsula, they could share in the produce. So for that 9-month period, one could grow 4 of these boxes, which would be equivalent of a 128 square foot garden. If you put all 4 boxes together, that would be 8 foot wide and 16 feet long. So you could grow a whole lot of produce in that amount of space. So then those 4 families could share in that produce through that season. If I took this pin and I dropped this box down and I put the pin in here, I could release the pins on that side and it lifts the other side up. And so your maximum reach is only 24 inches. Obviously, I could garden from a wheelchair. Another thought I had is how to use the greenhouse. We'll say somewhere like the Veterans Facility in Marquette. Every once in a while I see these guys sitting out front in a wheelchair and wondering, what do they do to occupy their time? And I thought, well, why couldn't they grow a garden? The temperature of the box, I've got it set at, is 80 degrees. I can plug 4 boxes into this controller, and this light being on tells me it's active right now. It's actively heating it. So there is a sensor that follows this cable and goes up into the greenhouse, and it's down about 3 inches down. So I know that 3 inches down, no matter where I plug this thermometer, which indicates right now that the outdoor temperature is 59 degrees. So if I want to plug this down, let's say we're going to go right here. You can see already it's starting to climb. The temperature's starting to climb. So if I plunge this down to about here, you can see that it's going to go up to 80 degrees, 3 inches down. So no matter where I plunge this thermometer, if I, let's say I'll go over here, I know that 3 inches down, it's going to be 80 degrees. You'll see it's climbing up to that right now. And if I have 4 boxes all plugged into that same controller, no matter where I plug this thermometer, it's going to be 80 degrees, 3 inches down. So you have total control of your greenhouse. Let me show you the temperature results now for November. I did show you the results in October, which you can see where the temperatures were dropping in October, and the use of kilowatt hours and everything else were accumulating, and the cost was $5.90. And you can see that on the last day of October it was below freezing. So now let's go to November. We're starting it out at right around the freezing line. That 32 degree line, that's freezing. Any dot you see below that line is going to be below freezing. So we had 18 days in November of freezing temperatures, and you can see how the cost is going up. Started out $3.25 after the first week, $6.68, now $9.98. So this tells me now, because we have the ability to go into the internet and look up weather trends for the next 10 days, you can actually look ahead and say, all right, it's going to be freezing temperatures, time to shut the garden off. So what this means now is that right at this area right here, the cost is starting to shoot up as the temperature is maintaining a low temp. That tells me that that area right there is going to be my point of feasibility to turn off my garden. I joke about growing in a Boomer Bloomer that every aspect of gardening, from seeding, watering, weeding, harvesting, all that can be done while holding a glass of wine. And that's true. And I'm not even exaggerating, but here, let me just show you how watering works. So I'll remove this filter so you can see how that just keeps dirt and stuff like that from plugging these little holes down here. So now all I got to do to water is put the water in this area right here, and you can watch it. Actually, I'll pull the hose away and you can see that it starts draining right down. So what I'm doing is I'm blanket watering the entire greenhouse at one time. So all that water just went down underneath into that clay layer, which can now, by capillary action, work its way up.